Hey Dumplings, it's Dave decided we need to talk about Fahad and some others talking about Jung Kook and the World Cup situation. We also have an alleged airport staff talking about private Jung Kook information. And then we have Suga and the whole marry me thing being talked about again. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hey spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. Suga is having a new show and not enough people are talking about it. A lot of people are talking about it, but not enough. The new show is called Suchwita. This show will be put out in December 5th and it will be available on YouTube to watch. BTS members have been putting out so much and it's just so nice because we are getting to see so much content. I honestly think this format might be easier for HYBE as they don't need to try to round out 7 members every time they want to film something. They can just pick one of the 7 and they'll keep switching between the 7 and the 7 boys can rest well and keep their relevance and success. I love that Jin had a couple of drinking show appearances and even his own show that involved drinking. It was very cool to see the members lean into that and lean into the idea that they are adults. People think K-pop idols and it's indecent to drink or whatever, but do you honestly think the members do not drink? Jin would be almost 30 and he apparently to the audience has never had a drink, but of course with this mindset it was shocking and kind of refreshing to see Suga also take a part in a drinking show. The plan for this show was to showcase the different guests that come on the show. So Suga would act as a host. He would be able to get the guests' best side by using his charming personality, witty comments, and good looks, and of course a little bit of alcohol can help some of the guests loosen up. The teaser for all this was just dropped the other day and it was very surprising because neither Suga or HYBE had dropped any hints of this activity going on. And then the trailer was cute because they tried really hard to censor the first guest on the show and who that will be. It appeared to be Arm's face and that was pretty obvious. They also didn't censor his voice, so we know what his voice sounds like. And obviously armies are able to tell what Arm looks like even from just a hair on his head. But there was a moment that was actually very shocking, which was what Suga was wearing. He wore a shirt and if you look at it from a weird angle or look at the shirt as it folds, it appears that the shirt is saying Mary. It's actually saying Marnie. It's kind of hard to believe that this shirt did not say Mary because it clearly looks like it says Mary in some shots. Of course, it does not mean he is actually married or anything like that, but funny because this goes along with the Marry Me Yoongi comments. People were saying these Marry Me Yoongi memes will forever follow Suga because of moments like this. And it obviously does not help. I think this is so funny and so coincidental. It's like the meme was not an accident but a universe thing, like it was supposed to happen. Another moment that was talked about was Arm's arm. It appeared like he was twisting his arm all the way back and contorting himself as he was just sitting there. People started making jokes adding contortionist to his list of accolades. But if you're double jointed and even if you're not, I think this is possible. I think it's funny that the BTS members can't get away with anything they do that is slightly weird without whole Twitter talking about it. I mean, if with simple things like this causing huge conversation, can you imagine bigger things like the World Cup and what type of conversation that must be? If a news or a story seems very loud to you, i.e. lots of news coverage, friends talking about it, etc., then it is 30 times louder for the person involved. Every time they're being spoken about online, they're tagged and it's with 50,000 other people in the comments, tagging them. Their managers and PR team are talking about it, and of course every headline is covering it. And they must see their face and the story everywhere they go. Jung Kook had this happen to him recently where he just performed at the World Cup. He performed with a local singer named Fahad and really shattered records with the most listened to and highest debuted World Cup song. It really showed how much he is loved and just how much people love the performance song and music video. Some of the people involved, such as RedOne and Fahad, came out and talked about their experiences working with Jung Kook. RedOne is a producer, if you didn't know. He was quite big a couple years ago. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing a song starting with someone saying RedOne. I think Nicki Minaj and Pitbull worked with him many times. So RedOne is definitely respected in the industry. RedOne talked about having the absolute honor of working with Jung Kook and how extremely professional Jung Kook really is. Talked about how Jung Kook would just come in, do a quick take, and really be done. That fast and easy. This, of course, is not actually easy, but for a professional like Jung Kook, he was probably trained like this so he can squeeze in multiple activities in one day. And then RedOne expressed that Jung Kook was also really open to options and thoughts to make sure it sounded exactly like how either of them may have pictured it. I tend not to believe celebrities when they say other celebrities are kind or anything like that, as this could all be fake. It's hard to tell. Celebrities often don't want to attack other celebrities in fear that they may get blacklisted or be problematic if they shade or attack someone. So often celebrities will just say generic nice things about another celebrity. But what is interesting is that a lot of people that Jung Kook works with say the exact same thing about him. Unless all these producers and celebrities sit there and read what other people say about Jung Kook and just just regurgitate that, then they must be telling the truth about Jung Kook. It's quite nice to hear that Jung Kook is indeed very kind, hardworking, and talented. Fahad, who was the one we saw on stage with Jung Kook, actually came out and had a few thoughts about that performance, as well as working with Jung Kook. During an interview Fahad was doing with the CEO in charge of the World Cup, Fahad was mentioning how a lot of this fandom was asking why it was Jung Kook and not the entirety of BTS. Jung Kook is also often referred to as Cookie in the fandom because of the last part of his first name. However, I don't think Fahad or the interviewer made that connection because they refer to the other members of BTS as the other cookies, but it's quite cute nonetheless. People were saying how Jung Kook and all these other men referring to the rest of BTS, were getting this super cute nickname now and loved it so much. I really do think it's so funny how they gave BTS a cute nickname and it caught on. The fandom seemed to love it. Now, in case you are wondering what was the answer to why the other members were not invited, the interviewer slash CEO mentioned that it was because the other cookies had military service. Now, of course, all of them did not. It's just Jin right now, but given that it seemed like the CEO doesn't 100% know all the members' names, it could be why they chose Jung Kook, thinking the other members would be at the military camp already, given all the headlines about it. Also, it's perfect because I think Jung Kook is really the only member that has been given praise for his incredible dancing and singing to the capacity in which Jung Kook has done that. Many people were talking about Jung Kook, and a lot of recent shipping moments start to come back into the spotlight once Jung Kook has a big moment. This could either be because he is talked about in that moment, so anything referencing him would blow up, but also it could be since there's so much more eyeballs on him, people will just start talking about things. There was an increase in Jimin and Jungkook moments circulating, and obviously older ones since there's not really many new ones. But Jungkook was seen allegedly at the airport with Jimin, and apparently this was quote-unquote confirmed by an airport staff even though they had not provided any real evidence, claiming things like how Jungkook would wait for Jimin, which is totally normal by the way. If you're friends with someone, you just leave them. If they have to stop for some reason, you'd wait for them. I hope so. And then apparently it was said that they were seen off by their family. So Jungkook's dad and Jimin's brother were there. And of course claims of them walking side by side, which none of this means dating. It means they're good friends, like the good friends that they are. But also I want to say the level of unprofessionalism this airport or airline staff would have if this was true. Part of working in that industry, and especially in an industry that will run into a lot of celebrities, is discretion. You are literally a part of a pretty intimate environment with them, especially if they're flying long hours and are sleeping in front of you. You know how much the celebrity has to trust the airport or airline to feel okay with sleeping there and hope that they will wake up and not be murdered, or wake up and still have their clothes not stolen and sold. This is a job that is important, and if celebrities, and not even celebrities, if big name CEOs and several really big people realize that this airline or airport is practicing these things and either making up rumors or leaking rumors, if this was true, they will never fly that airline or airport ever again. I don't think these claims are real, as I've insinuated, but I also think if it was, it should have ended there and not made its way online. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.